Hello, everyone, and welcome to Back to Light. This is a show where we talk about how future proofs past, and we help you with different techniques and tools to help you get back to your sovereignty, your truth, your health, and your wealth.
My name is Simon Onyx, Assistant Undersecretary for Unlit Affairs. Simply here to prepare you for what's about to come.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you will be haunted by three spirits.
You know the story, do you? Are you certain? You know what comes after the happy ending?
Where is this place?
Ebenezer Scrooge. You must admit, you lived a wretched life.
I changed.
Oh, please spare me.
I changed. I promised the spirits.
Your promise was too little and too late.
Well, what of me then?
You will still get a chance of redemption by helping others to find their own.
Well, if you're both here, where am I?
Dead
Dead?
as a doornail.
The four of us are now dependent upon each other, for better or worse.
Dependent on each other for what?
Redemption.
Your second chance will have to be here now, Ebenezer. The same as ours.
So don't muck it up.
It seems it takes both of you to save an angel.
That young lady is who you have to save.
We specialize in Christmas miracles.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Journey along for the untold twist in the life of Ebenezer Scrooge. The stakes are higher, the times unfamiliar, but the ultimate goal remains the same: redemption. Oh, and of course, along the way, there's music and laughter, good cheer and maybe a tear, if you're into that sort of thing, I suppose. Sometimes an ending is just a place for an all-new beginning. And this certainly is.
Christmas, how I missed you, Christmas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Back to Light. Today, I have a very special guest on episode 18, and please help me bring to the stage the lovely and talented Jerry Parisi of Ebenezer the Traveler. Welcome, Jerry.
Humbug there, you got me on TV again. Someone keeps getting me, and I don't even get ready for these things any longer. How are you tonight, dear?
Good evening, sir.
Humbug. I always say so. Of course, I don't normally wear glasses any longer. My eyeballs now just don't see anything that's in front of them.
Mine either. I actually call my telephone device a future box. And
That's that little black thing that has a number on it and voices come out so often.
yes, and it steals your soul. So, it's very scary for some.
It was very scary for me, too, because one time I talked into it and I saw my face on it. What happened here?
Oh my, there I am.
It was horrible. And I all of a sudden was looking for more things, and then everything else came up and scared me, half to death. Dropped it in the water and it exploded. Then what happened was nothing. Pure nothing.
I love it. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. And when we were speaking, I was just so excited to watch your movie because I've been doing the Dickens Festival Downport since 2021. And it just brought me so much joy to see another side of Ebenezer and the story and things like that. So what I wanted to ask you first and foremost is, where did all this come up? Like, who was the brain behind Ebenezer the Traveler? Where did this start from?
Unfortunately, dear, me.
I love it.
Really notice me because I happened to think about it, because every actor needs a good backstory to him. And what happened was, we were working on a TV series called Here's to Us, in which Rick, the character I played, was supposed to be handling the Dickens Festival. I shouldn't even say that, but handling it as an advertising agency. And then he was going to play Scrooge. Well, how could Scrooge play Scrooge when Scrooge is really Scrooge? Therefore, as we talked and changed things around, we realized we got more traction out of it that way than we would any other way. Jacob Marley, being a good business friend and fellow, allowed me to use him in this as well. And the two of us came together and said, we're going to change the sign to Marley and Scrooge. I said, what? He said, Marley and Scrooge, I taught you everything I know. So he taught me everything I know. Wait a minute, Jacob.
That.
I'm paying for the sign. It should say Scrooge and Marley. Oh, it should not, he said. And then there was the argument.
We at Marley and we at Scrooge and Marley would like to wish you all a very happy holiday season.
Since when is it Marley and Scrooge and Marley?
It's supposed to be Marley and Scrooge from the very beginning, and you know that it's Scrooge and Marley now because you're the one who went to the sign maker, and you're the one who told him to put Scrooge and Marley. We agreed it was Marley and Scrooge.
The argument was very scary, and the brainchild came from a fellow by the name of Jerry Parisi, who figured this would be a great thing to do and resurrect me out of my dead, to come to the 21st century.
That must have been scary to come into, right?
What was that?
Just to walk around and see the way that the world was. It must have been scary, right?
That comes in the third episode, by the way.
I love how it was left open. So there's so much room for anything. Like it could be anything. So I loved it.
Well, that's the whole idea. Christmas keeps coming every year as well.
Yes.
So we can keep going more and more and more till 105, 106 years old. Which brings me to an important point. On February 7th, Ebenezer Scrooge's birthday, it will be celebrated, and more on that when we find out a few more information. But save the date, it's an important one. I'll expect you there.
Okay. Well, keep us updated, good sir.
I will. Someone told me they're inventing something called a calendar. I'll work with it.
Oh, okay. I shall look for that in the future.
Yes. What's your second question, dear?
I just absolutely loved watching the movie. I laughed, cried. It was just remarkable. It really did bring a different light to the Christmas spirit and the Christmas joy that I feel many have lost over these years. So
Well, first of all, let me explain to you something of the Christmas spirit. There is no such thing as bah humbug. I don't tend sheep. Therefore, it's only humbug. I don't know where people came up with this idea that I tended sheep. I have an accounting firm. Named Scrooge and Marley. Of course, we're fixing the sign now. But it'll say Scrooge and Marley on the door. That's hanging over the head.
So we have saying bah humbug. Okay, I will.
No bah humbug. It's humbug, dear. Simple humbug.
There are a lot of people I need to tell that to.
Well, you better start now because you have a big world in front of you.
Believe me, I will get it out there.
Fine. I like that idea. What's your next question for 25 cents?
So,
We charge now.
sense. I know I'm going to owe you so much for this. Okay, so where was the movie shot, and how did you actually get the cinematography? It was just incredible, and I just loved it.
So, after putting Joanne together with me as the owners of Woodward City Productions, we first created something called Ebenezer the Traveler, and it was the proof of concept reel. Had a completely different version of set of people, different writer and everything. However, in doing so, this wonderful gentleman from Oklahoma, who I had known from another production, had mentioned that he loves to write and he loved Dickens. Well, I love Dickens too, except I have nothing to do with Mr. Dickens. This is my work.
Right.
Therefore, no matter how many times someone does a Christmas carol, it is not a Christmas carol.
Right.
Let's understand that for good. There's no bar, no Christmas carol. Now that we're getting that straight. The whole idea then went from the proof of concept reel, which was a very good reel, and I don't know how to drink out of these. I tried. It's it's a cap. I see. A cork, like a cork.
Like a cork.
Yes, of course. That's where they put the water.
Not in the well.
Of course not. Now, from there, we were told by focus groups that we needed something more. And we created it with Leland himself. It was called the Red Scenes. And we changed a few things around. And the Red Scenes were done by a second production company. And they were wonderful about it. But the problem came from the fact that it was not coherent enough for anything. Even though we had won a bronze in the first film festival we had ever gone to, this is before we were on television, we had still lots to change. A lot of people had different ideas, and we had the focus groups in New York, Long Island, New Jersey, all right, Oklahoma, Florida, up in Boston. We had them there. We had them in San Antonio, Texas. We had a few in Los Angeles. And the questions were all almost the same. The only thing we didn't fare out well was the Bible Belt. Because only they would say, this cannot be true. You cannot be a redeemer, only Jesus Christ. All right, fine. You won't have it. So now moving on, we had started looking for real production companies. Along came Joe Valenti. Now, Mr. Valenti, I had known him from the Joey Reynolds show a ton of years ago. And that was on LX, a local channel 4 in New York City itself, out in NASDAQ, big studios, beautiful. We were brought together by a friend. Now, I marveled at Mr. Valenti's work. Now, how could I just marvel at someone's work like that? Well, this man who has the patience of 2, maybe even 3 saints, maybe 2.5 saints. But anyway, a lot of saints all rolled up into one fellow. And this one fellow was running all the cameras live on NBC LX that night on the Joey Reynolds show. And I thought, my God, he's a good person. Looks like a good-hearted fellow. And he was young, had a lot of energy, and it was a wonderful thing. Okay. Now, that being said, a few years later, we did a filmmaker show because I have a weekly TV show on channel 115, happens to go on tonight at 9:30. And the filmmaker show uses different guests on what they use and how they do things in their world. We brought him in with his drone work, incredible drone work. I must say, you almost felt like you were flying along with the drone. Great, man. So he took a look at it, and we decided, let's see if we can pitch it to a few people. Well, it came down to the idea that Valenti Vision Incorporated and Woodward City Productions, LLC, that's my wife and myself, will come together on a one partnership deal and make this movie, Ebenezer the Traveler. Now, mind you, Mr. Valenti owns all this equipment. This is no small. The best way to say it is no small feat. He knows what he's doing. He understands his equipment. He knows exactly which lenses to use. And that didn't stop him from buying a new package of lens with I think, at least 9 or 12 lenses to make this work. Because lenses make things work. Lighting makes things work. Not just stick a camera in your face and make it happen. It doesn't work that way. And he knows it. Moving on. We were going to need some really good scripting now. Mm-hmm. So Mr. Prater, who created, from my concept, 6 stories in 3 books, was asked, take the movie or take the books and make a movie out of it. So he cherry-picked the best he could do, tied it together, and it went past the 3 of us. He, Joseph, and myself. We looked at everything, thought it worked really well, but there were changes. There were many changes. Mind you, there were changes on the set that day because he had the capability, because of Valenti Vision, to look through a computer and watch us act from Oklahoma to New York. We didn't play any games here. The actors were hand-chosen. And you know what? We didn't even use a casting director. Do you know why? The question is why. I'm waiting to hear your answer. Why wouldn't you use a casting director?
Because sometimes casting pick the talents and they don't pick real talent.
Wrong. It's because I was good-looking. Remember that.
But I was also right, sir. I've seen talent out there, and I've seen being in movies.
Okay, understand something. This is the first time I've ever done an interview with Scrooge himself. Now, let's understand more. And while we're understanding, write these things down. Now, how did we do that without a casting director? Well, let's see. We needed a union to work with, and we brought in a production person from the union named Pat Patterson, and she is a union producer, and she's known on that variation of as a line producer. She knew exactly what had to be done, and we wish we brought her in earlier. Unlike the second one, she's already involved. Now, once we put that all together, the idea was, where were we going to shoot? And that becomes your question.
Yes.
Well, we can't have these wonderful outfits, which my wife happened to win in Las Vegas along with Blaise Amasillo, the award for best costume and makeup. We all won awards in every category, I should mention. 23. So we went to some folks that I knew on Mount Sinai and said, we need to borrow your world, literally. The house, the grounds, your barn, your shed, everything. And funny, this man also said, well, what about the cemetery? 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 Well, it turns out on his property was a cemetery. So therefore, all the dead people, though they couldn't sign their name, became extras in the background.
There you go.
And we had to make a giant tomb, a giant stone, which said Ebenezer Scrooge. And so that had to be created in the art department. We have a big art department, and we do a lot of work in it. In fact, the art department's prized possession
Right.
what is he bringing her? Well, you'll take a look now. It's heavy as anything.
Seems.
And there is a sign.
Oh, you changed it.
It had to come in quickly, so
Beautiful.
it was really made. This is real old wood that was weathered for several years outside. Wooden letters made to look like they were bronze and rusted, put together, and it's as heavy as anything. Okay, back to the locations. So we chose the Mount Sinai location as the home base camp, if you will. And then from there, we worked our way into Yaphank, which there are historical museums, and we rented them. Wasn't no small feat to rent beautiful museums, but we did. And then from Yaphank, Babylon Village, coffee shop, Jack and Jack's, and Ooh La La on Main Street. That's the antique shop.
Yes.
We brought the real things this time. We weren't playing games. Now, across the street was the Argyle Theater. We could have used them, but unfortunately, we needed a marquee that was a little different. We began looking at where could we get that marquee? Where can we also get an auditorium big enough? I'll tell you in a few minutes. However, once we finished with Babylon, now it was to move to the west, young man. And we went to Staten Island. We used Richmond Town because it was bigger in our position and our beliefs than some of the other places here on Long Island. And we needed blocks and blocks. And we needed no vehicles and blocks and blocks.
Not on Long Island.
And we found it in Staten Island, in Richmond Town. So Joe Valenti made that connection, and there we went. Cold morning with equipment and trucks, and everything was brought out and done. There we met Lou Martini Jr., good friend of mine, played the green and red Santa Claus, the green being Father Christmas, the red being the Santa later in the future, because he was able to transverse time. And that's what Fan, who I still don't know is my sister, was able to tell me. Moving forward on that, we went from Staten Island to New Jersey. Hopewell, New Jersey was the town that was supposed to represent Oklahoma. And that was the bar. Simple bar, once again, a Joe Valenti find. And that bar was named then the Boar's Den. The Boar's Den was named after the Boar's Nest in Oklahoma. However, to get our actors not in Oklahoma, we went there. Later, we went to Tom's River. Tom's River has an interesting story to it, which I'll tell you in a minute. But once we were done in New Jersey, we all put our heads together and said, well, something else has to be done. Yep. We boarded the planes and went directly to Oklahoma. We shot in Tulsa, where we found the movie theater. We went to Hominy, where we found Shay. And Shay was a wonderful man. He gave up his store for a whole day while we did it. We only took a half a day because Lillian was so good with his own lines that we didn't have to keep reshooting. It was spontaneous and well done. We even were able to take a break before we went to Marty Scorsese's sets, and there they were in Parkster. And we shot there. And we shot there till the middle of the night when poor Amanda had to get back to a plane. So some scenes had to be then back to New Jersey, but we shot in Oklahoma. And it was beautiful. And the drone work was all Mr. Valenti's. Everything you see, including the beautiful music, was Mr. Valenti's and Mr. Rodriguez. Anthony Rodriguez was brought in for that music. Walk Sound of New Jersey came in, and boy, did they make it. They brought in our own Emily, and she became the song. And therefore, when we shot in New Jersey, we didn't shoot in a small theater. We shot in the auditorium of a college. Huge recreation center, beautiful. And that college is where all that took place. And there's a scene where Amanda and I are right on the side, clapping. We're excited, we're happy. Tears were rolling down my eyes. And I didn't need peppermint spray for that because I was so elated to see what was happening in real life. Watching us sing, watching Joe Valenti's team moving these cameras on big winches and everything that could go up and down would go up and down. And forgive me if I don't know the words of the future, but I am just winging it here myself.
You do.
And then came, how do we fill a theater with 200 people or so? We had to put out a call. We also had to fill off a TV set and 2 13-foot Christmas trees that ultimately someone won, but couldn't take them with them. Should have donated them. Didn't happen that way. But we were proud because we filled that theater. And that was one of the most important things to do that day. And everything had to revolve around that theater, the crowd, the song, and the actors. It was a long day, but it was worth it. Everyone got away.
It was absolutely beautiful. It was so full of emotion. It felt, because I'm also an energy coach. So when I was watching the movie, I felt like a sense of accomplishment, right? Not only for her, but like you're saying, for this movie to almost be at its end, but not really. It's like kind of the beginning, right? It's the end of that part of the movie. And it just felt so warm and just, it warmed my heart. I was like, I cannot believe how you guys put that all together. It was incredible.
Well, with 62 people and a lot of money, it works that way.
But it's like, it's a lot that goes into it. So that was my next question, how much, but you kind of answered it, like how much has to go into it. You had to do all the different locations, you had to scout, you had to find people, and that's just remarkable to see it all.
It was very interesting. We got away from that, so let's get back to it before I mention the interesting story. Well, actually, since we're on locations, let's go to the interesting story first. There's a scene when we leave the antique store in Babylon Village, and as we leave the door, we're putting our foot into New Jersey and walking down that street because they still had the lights up. But when we turned the corner, it was Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
And when we went back into the tea shop, we were back in Babylon.
You can't even tell.
That, of course you can't. We know what we're doing.
Wonderful.
I don't sound like I know what I'm doing, do I? It was all the magic of filmmaking, and that's the creative team was Leland, myself, and Joe Valenti. Then there's the corporate team that includes my wife and Michael Kaufman, another producer, and Blazier, another producer, who on the set took on my role as creative director and set designer to help out, because I can't see me when I am playing me.
Right.
Now, let's get to speaking of all the means that are in the place.
Yes.
We had a lot of auditions, and we did it ourselves. We didn't need the casting director this time. We knew what we needed to see, and in many cases, it wasn't just the script. It was the camaraderie that does it. So Michael Bertolini and I, Mr. Jacob Marley, had met each other on a set of The Deuce in New York City. He happened to be the coin man. He happened to be the mop man. And that's how that worked out. And in between shots, we would sit and talk about this, and somehow it all came together. And when he came in for his audition, he didn't have to read anything. All the director wanted to see was a simple conversation, in which we had a simple conversation. And it worked out so well that Tiny Tim was brought in for the same type of conversation. And what clinched it with him was simple. I kept talking to him, and he stopped and listened and listened and listened and said, Mr. Scrooge, I find you rather annoying. And everyone died laughing and was given the part.
Yeah.
Now, as for Fan, I've known Fan since Here's to Us, when she was 16 years old and played a pickpocket on that TV series.
Oh, wow.
That's right. I knew her father, Don, who happened to be vice president of ABC in the editing department for the Eyewitness News of 6 and 11 p.m. The man speaks TV all by himself. Anyway, now, back to the next question, because I think I've answered all of this so far in great detail.
Yes, absolutely. And I thank you for that.
Good. What's your next question?
So the next question would be, how has your family life been impacted, or has it been impacted? Was that too much?
It's a very good question, dear. First of all, yes, to a tremendous degree it has. Marriages are ruined by movies, I want to mention to you. Therefore, thank God this one has not, because my wife, being my first girlfriend, we went out with for 2 years, and stupid me who didn't marry her then, should have, got her involved. All I said is, would you like to work with me again? Because we used to make Super 8 movies as kids. She goes, I will, but I want to help you produce it. No, you can't do that. I had just mentioned to someone that we couldn't work with them anymore because they weren't come through with their values, creative, and their financial promise. She says, I want to be part of it. No, you can't do that. Well, why not? Well, we'd have to start a whole new corporation. That's no problem. I've done that before. All right. And I need somebody to run it who's going to be side by side by me. Of course, I said, that's not a bad idea. Side by side. You'll have to put in a lot of hours. And she said, well, I will do that. So we created our own Woodward City Productions. And Woodward City, the name, she lived on the city line of Brooklyn and Queens. I lived on Woodward Avenue. Woodward City Productions, LLC. Our love child put together to make the movie happen. Once all that came together with Leland's strong writing, Joe's directing, which this man has also done everything on television you see on sports, including the Stanley Cup. He knows what he's doing. He's able to come together and say, we're going to make this happen. So then Mike Kaufman, our producer also, said, I'll get back in touch with Marilyn. Now, Marilyn is a New York City entertainment lawyer. So we actually had 2 lawyers working at once. We met in New York City for lunch in a cafe on the street. At the time, the restaurants were putting people together on the sidewalk. It was a beautiful day, and we didn't have to be inside for anything. And there we met. Joe Valenti, my wife, Michael Kaufman, Marilyn Haft. She so loved the movie, the concept, that, oh my God, how is it possible for the first time there's a sequel to find out what happens to Mr. Scrooge? So between that and the IP lawyer for everything we own is the IP, which is what Woodward City's role is. We are the IP. We are the signatory. Valenti Vision is the production company. So that's how it sort of comes together, synchronized very well. Now that we got that out of the way, she said, I'm going to pitch to someone in Los Angeles. Sure, why not? Before she left, she said, I've always loved Ebenezer Scrooge. And she opened up a locket. And in the locket was Scrooge McDuck. Oh. And she says, I want to be part of this. As you are. Whatever it takes, you are. Yeah. Within a week, our movie was shown to Convoke Media. Now, that's a mighty distribution production company in Los Angeles. And they put it out there. No one knows our movie actually went to Cannes. It went to Berlin. It went to so many different places. But when it went to North by Northwest or South by Southwest or whatever the name of that festival's selling point was, he made the deal with Gravitas. And Gravitas looked at it and said, we want this movie. And suddenly, we were going through a phone book's worth of contracts with the lawyers. And this is what other indies simply don't get. This is not an indie any longer. When we began the partnership, the Screen Actors Guild said, now you're a small studio, a real studio. We had everything, and we won in every film festival, which came after the acquisition of the film. The acquisition of the film went to media news everywhere throughout the United States. Gravitas acquires the rights to Ebenezer the Traveler. And suddenly we were born. We moved away from where any comfort zone of any indie ever had to the highway. We got off that service road, and now we're nonstop. And of course, there will be a sequel. Now, how has it affected family life? Well, there's a lot. Heavy monetary concerns because we had to keep up with everything. We still put things out. We're on the Long Island Press this week. We're in so many newspapers every week, the ads. But because of my advertising background, thankfully at Ogilvy, Y&R, Foote Konen Belding, even Publishers Clearinghouse. The training I received at the High School of Art and Design was invaluable to making advertising. But I had to learn so much more. I even learned the negotiation when I worked at Sleepy's for the last job I had on Long Island. I watched their media department wrangle with the newspapers. I watched how they did it. I do the same thing. If you really want us, you got to make a deal. I know you're missing space. I know you're lacking clients. But we don't have a budget the size of a city bus either. We got to make it work. Are you with us or not? And when they started writing the reviews, the North and South, put them together, it started making a lot more sense to them follow us. And we did. And throughout anywhere we could be, whether it was in New Jersey, New York City, or any other place we were, the movie got recognized. Now, we had just completed the Huntington Parade 2 weeks ago. How did it affect me? I had more people run up to me and said, "You're Scrooge, we see you in the movie," and run in front of me and scare the daylights out of me. This one gentleman runs into the line, puts a camera in his face, this little black box thing. He goes like this, and all of a sudden I'm now on his thing. Stole my soul, he did.
Stole your soul.
Well, I did sell it later on, because if you have it, you might as well buy it. Therefore, this just didn't happen. It's years of work. 8 years, now 9. And isn't it funny? We got an 8-year contract from Gravitas too, now coming into our 7th year. 7. We have 7 more years to go with them. And therefore, when we were in Los Angeles, we didn't get one more prize. One more win, Best Family Feature Drama. We've got them all written down. We have our press kits. We have our advertising materials. We have anything an investor needs to see, which is why I'll be talking to them in a few moments, unselfishly using your platform to pitch my movie.
No, you're totally fine.
But if you're watching this, you're learning a lot.
We're learning a lot, and it's important because it's how the whole vision came about. It's not just about the movie, it's the vision and where it's going to go from here.
This is very true. I like you, you're a student. I'm naming you that.
What's that?
I'm naming you my student. Now, one of the most important things anybody has to do when they're making an indie is understand that the advertising is going to cost more than movie. You have to. Well, I'll put it on the internet, say these young people. No, that's baloney. Because for the person who's not on the internet and still reads the local newspapers, having a roll of butter in his hand and a cup of coffee, sees an ad for Ebenezer the Traveler, and they know what they're doing. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to watch this. Well, what about when you're caught in traffic? Well, you're not reading anything then. Hopefully you're not playing with your phone. So what are you doing? Well, I'll tell you what you're doing. You're seeing a bus sign go past, and that bus is invaluable as long as it's not in the yard laid up being fixed with a motor problem or something like that. but then they see it out there in the street. What about the radio? Well, people still listen to the radio on the way home, don't they? Well, yes, they do. So WGBB played our songs. They've been playing them for a year already. Great thanks to Joey Petroni and his show. Just interviewed us. What about some of the other ancillary things you wind up doing? Well, I'll tell you what. The Remington Foundation, we're proud of them, run by Chenna, August Smith's long German name. She believed in us too, and she was part of us. She's one of the dead people in the line. And recently her family member, Remington, had passed. But we don't take that lightly. When a family member hurts in the family of Ebenezer the Traveler, we make sure we take care of them. And the next script is a mention, not only a mention, a scene, a big one, purposely put together for that. You'll see more of that in the next one.
Well, thanks for the little peek.
Oh, not only that, we put together some important stuff here. Let's talk about the Remington Foundation for a moment.
Yes, please.
That's the dog, Remington.
Oh.
A family member. So generally, you've got some very expensive ads here. I think it was several $1,000s a page, if I understand right. And knowing paper and everything that goes into a magazine like this, having done 10 trillion of them in the ad world, it's important when you reach out and say, well, we want to be part of you too. God forbid I ever put a paperclip or something in a place here that I could find it quickly. Talks about the Remington Fund. And here we go. Lo and behold, no ad man's not going to put together an ad on purpose for them. Take a look at the ad on purpose. And what that ad says, with my glasses that will have to now go on. The producers, cast, and crew of the movie Ebenezer the Traveler wish to extend congratulations to the Remington Foundation, a non-profit organization, on its first year anniversary of continued support and dedicated to the memory of Remington. Now, let's get back to your question on music.
Yes.
Joe Valenti wrote the famous songs. Anthony Rodriguez of Walk Sound composed all the music, sung by our very own Emily Jean Phillips. Therefore, besides this beautiful album, which is out there on DVD, we now have LPs, the vinyl.
Wow.
And look at that. There's a red vinyl album in there, and I haven't taken this out on purpose because I'm just so proud of the work Mr. Valenti put together. It includes How I Missed You Christmas and You Do What You Have to Do, two of the famous songs in the movie, along with soundtracks and pieces. Why, I even have my own sound. Why don't you play that song now so they can hear it?
Forgotten what the meaning was. Lost so much, no longer care. So uncertain if I'd ever come around. Living life so unaware. You showed me how I was missing out on the things that mattered most to me. Letting go of all the The future is starting anew. It's time to step in the light again. This feeling of Christmas is inside all of you. Christmas, Christmas. What does it mean to us? Spending time sitting round the fire, roasting chestnuts, hearing caroling choirs. A time for giving some holiday cheer and starting the countdown to a brand new year. Christmas, Christmas. What does it mean to me? Cherishing moments, grateful each day. Through good times and bad times, come what may. Remembering loved ones and the ones that we've lost. The spirit of giving, no matter what the cost. Christmas, Christmas. How I missed you, Christmas.
How did you like that?
That was amazing.
Of course it is.
Yes, you know.
He did it. Actually, they did it. I just enjoy it. But I'll tell you a funny story. So it was myself, the missus, proudly the missus, of course, Mr. Prater and his wife, Christine, all in a hotel, Staten Island, I believe, when Joe Valenti walked into our rooms and said, I have something. It's the mock-up of this song. Now, being the musician and the writer that he's also a very talented individual will do, he brought us those samples, rough. But rough they weren't to us.
Mm-hmm. It was
We listened to songs and said, oh my gosh, we've got a song. And tears, once again, well up. We have a song that's so incredible. And Emily wasn't even singing it. It was Joe singing it for us.
Wow.
So how could that be? Well, there it is. Now you heard, and now you know what it is. And it's for sale, of course. You can go to Amazon and buy all of our books. You can buy the DVDs soon. Actually, the DVDs are out. Yes, digital recording. It's supposed to be sounding better than records, and that's wonderful. Anything that makes us sound good, we like. Now, let's move on to some other questions where I don't have to belabor the answers.
I have some other questions,
Let's hear them.
if you don't mind. In the Dickens time, Scrooge's big quote-unquote sin was hoarding money, right? And hating Christmas. So in 2025, watching people doom and gloom and the scrolling through social media, what do you think Scrooge would be most offended by, seeing the way that people are towards one another and towards themselves?
All right, if I understand your question, you're comparing the 1800s with the mindset of people on how they cared for each other, helped each other, did what they could, put their time aside to help someone build a house or fix a log cabin or something in the house. If there was sickness, they'd bring food. Well, in a lot of ways, they do the same thing now. We just don't see enough of it. That is because what we call the media is very negative. And why is that? Well, negativity sells. And that's what happens in this world. And you're nobody better than me to know this since I've gone through 44 years of advertising. The negativity sells.
Unfortunately.
What did Mr. Scrooge say about this? Well, I'm sure you wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it at all, I thought. Why would I like it? Why wouldn't I like it? I pondered the questions very carefully. The real truth of the matter is I'll never be me. Some of my favorite photographs of even the last parade were me writing autographs to children in wheelchairs. That's what I see. Good. I have no grudges. I have no hatred. There really is none of that. So for me, when I see people like that, I walk away. Yeah. I have no impression of them. To me, they're a failure. I don't deal with failures. Remember Scrooge and Marley. Remember Scrooge and Marley.
Not Marley.
Sign says it perfectly. Scrooge and Marley would never, ever hate people. And I dare say, in the words of Joe Valenti that came out in the review in the Great South Bay newspaper, and what he had said was very simple. This has been nothing but pure joy to work with because none of us have an ego. None of us hate anything. None of us will ever do anything other than hold each other dearly in our hearts because we made each other look good. Not one person did not make the other one look good in a movie this big. There is no I was better than you. There is no hey, you should have cut this differently. We didn't talk about songs other than how much we loved them. And even the outfits. That's why we won 23 awards. Everything went well because none of us harbor those angry feelings. See, that's the thing. None of us harbor those angry feelings. Question, dear. You're up to 75 cents.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I'm almost done. You spend half the movie as a ghost who can't touch anything. So these days, people already feel like ghosts in their own lives. So we have, the AirPods and things like that. How do you feel like in this modern loneliness? How would it feel in this new way? Well, we're connected by technology. However, we're so disconnected from one another.
Well, first and foremost, especially in the first movie, Scrooge doesn't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff. And that will only be revealed later on in a scene not in the second movie, I don't believe, but probably the third. There are three together. All that teaching, as I understand it's supposed to happen, is while he's in the casket for 7 years doing Marley's job. The education comes through. And remember, Fan has been there before. She's waited all her life for him. She's already transversed to different centuries. So she's also his teacher. It's important to know that. And so is
going to talk to him about technologies.
He doesn't know about technology just yet. There are little things he still doesn't know yet, but it just comes naturally, like grabbing the car that Lou Martini Jr. was driving as a cab. He just saw Fan do it, and he did it. Must be the way it's done. He doesn't think of technology. He still thinks in terms of the way the old world worked.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Thank you.
There's another question. I better get a calculator. I think you owe me $1 now. I
owe you $1 now. This is kind of something we just touched on a little bit, but maybe we can expand on it. So what do you think is one thing that Scrooge doesn't get still about being human in 2025? Or in the state that he was in?
He gets it. He knows he's got a job to do. And with that job to do, he realized there's going to be sacrifices and have to be made. But he also knows that he can put a little aside more. And as the series unfolds, he will really learn more about some of his powers. He didn't know he could light a piece of paper in there. He was actually surprised himself. He was like, oh, this little piece of ash, did I do that? Was really on his mind. Of course, it burned my fingers too, but we weren't going to talk about that.
Okay, let's talk to Jerry. Jerry, can you expand more on the family, please?
Well, let's see if I have hat head first. Yeah.
I always have that there.
Hat head. Expand on family. All right, so now you really want to get to know some of the nitty gritty of my real life. I graduated high school of art and design in 1974. Went to courses in visual arts at night. I actually worked in the industry immediately after graduation of art and design. Started working on accounts like Eveready Batteries, some medical accounts, a few other things out of a little studio that took the overflow out of Compton Advertising, Union Carbide, which was Eveready Batteries, IBM, and a few other things. So I really learned by fire. Jump in, you're going to learn. From there, I went on to other stages of advertising and continued honing my skills. It wasn't 5 years before I became an art director, though. It wasn't just no easy title to get to. And executive creative director, 13 titles later, it wasn't an easy one either. So I would joke when I bled for the title art director, I bled more for creative director, especially when you're running departments. I'm proudly produced 5 shows on Madhouse TV, all at the same time for Madhouse. It's going Cablevision. That was the bridge to health. It was Legal Straight Talk, The Long Island View, All Lives Matter, and what is continued still in its 12th year now would be the Best of the Filmmakers Show, which started out as the Long Island Filmmakers Show. I received a letter from, I guess it was a public access station in Seattle, saying, if you wouldn't mind just dropping the Long Island for one section of that, we could use it. Well, we're changing the name anyway because that was given to me and I had to have my own footprint. So out it went, it became the Filmmakers Show. Later it became the Best of the Filmmakers Show when Joanne joined up with me to be my partner on that. And still, that is what it is known today. In fact, the 12th season, strangely enough, and I've been getting emails about it, when is it going to begin, was supposed to begin in October. Mm-hmm. It didn't because Cablevision was changing their times around, and we didn't get the new time till October. And now we were concentrating on what was going to become the Christmas work. Because one of the sole reasons that the Best of the Filmmakers Show exists is to continue being that peddler of Ebenezer the Traveler. And sure, we've got other things. We've got a wonderful car club that we belong to, my wife and I, the fabulous 50s and 60s Nostalgia Car Club. And John Valenza, the president, has promised that whatever decade we go into, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, Ebenezer the Traveler will not make it to the 21st century, not the Ghost of Futures Past. It will stop somewhere else. You'll find out the reasoning.
Okay.
You know? We'll be using their cars. We'll be using a lot of the same sets. So we've got that under our belt. And there'll be some new sets. We won't be flying this time all over the world because that was a tremendous cost. But you know what? For the first one, we had to do it. We knew we had to do it. We had to do it. That being said, more of the family that came in is that Joanne, being my wife, we were married on October 2nd, 10/02/22. Oh, wow. And we were married again in the church on December 14th last year. So my original marriage was annulled, and then we got married. The only thing we're lacking is our own kids, but we have kids. I have 3 beautiful kids, Danny, Mike, and Alyssa. I have 6 grandkids. Joanne has 2 children, and she has, 4 grandchildren. And our family life with that is always been tough, at least with my side of the world, working so many hours, because the advertising world sucks the life out of you. The movie industry makes the advertising world look like it's a game, because that really kills you. There are times Joe and I come in, there's still so much to put away in the offices or in the studios, and we also have not only a studio, we've got our wardrobe section, and we don't even get till the next morning to put it all away. We just crash on beds. A lot of times working the lines, you're doing 90 other things. You have to learn these lines still. It's like, how do you find that family time to sit quiet, still be a good husband, a father to the kids, and do all of that when you're learning a thick script that big? And granted, yes, we do break it apart. Of course, everybody does. But that's the way it's done. So that impacts the timing. That's a tough one. Additionally, our other service, we don't just do the movie. We're looking at 2 other properties besides Ebenezer, the Ghost of Christmas Futures. We'll see how that is. And it was actually 4. We declined 2. All right. Depends on how investors give them work or monetary help. That depends on that. That's a big part of it. We'll be moving forward with them in January. Unless, of course, we start shooting again and they get put on the back burner. And so timing becomes our biggest enemy. That's what happens with that. I would say that the casting part is very important. And I will tell movie makers, because first of all, whether they want to hear it or not, every one of you indies that I will speak to, and I know so many of you, it is not about your movie. It will never be about your movie. In fact, if you could prove to a distributor that holding up 3 fingers will bring in $100 million, they will take your 3 fingers. It's not that. The movie in and of itself, as big as the movie is simply a cog in a giant marketing wheel. Got to get it. You're not getting it. It's not about your movie. Your movie's got to really be good, but it's only one part. To sell our movies several years earlier, we have books. And people will say, are they real books or they're internet books? They're real books. Why would you have books? Why do you think you need books? Because someone can easily steal your movie, but the moment it was in print earlier, they can't get it. So book, a real book, look. Pages, words, 1, 2, 3. Wow. And why do we have them? To prove in a court of law this was ours first. Right. Why do you think we work with lawyers? For fun? No, we don't work with them for fun. We work with the right people to do the right things, give them what they deserve, and continue moving forward. And when you start building your mountain that way, then you're going to make it. And it's still a lot of work. I know a filmmaker that's making episodes, and when I found out the person had made all these episodes for television but never sold one yet, I just sat back and said, I hope it happens. Because they're going to change it. Even Gravitas came to us with minor little changes. Thank God we had it fully done by a professional who knew what he was doing. And remember, it wasn't just Joe and his team. We had to reach out to other people. Sound engineers, lighting, Foley. Foley, these indies. Foley, you guys put Foley in? Yeah. That's what they measure. It's like buying a house. Did you do it this way? Click. Did you do that? This, that. Make all these checklists. The moment you miss a check, you're gone. I know a guy named Stan Moger, SFM Productions, through another friend of mine called Sabatino. Stan took our original concepts to Hallmark. They came back and said, hey, we really like this. Give me something a little different, though. Change a couple of angles. Maybe you could do it in a different time period, whatever. We listened, okay? Because what was explained to me is he didn't just walk in with our movie. He walked in with 8 others, walked in with 9 movies. And this is what people like Convoke do. They walk in and say, okay, here's the press kit. This is the first one. This is Jack and Jill went up the hill. They fetched a pail of water. The executives go, next. What else you got? Oh, well, we got this about the sun rising over the moon with pink elements that dot the earth. All right, put that one aside. That might be good for kids. Let's keep going. What else do you got? And they go down the line. Luckily, they said, what's this one? Ebenezer the Traveler. Interesting, but it doesn't have a happy ending. Doesn't. So they passed. But that's okay, because in the end, they did say they liked it. Though it wasn't their world. And now understand another thing. When movies are sold, they're sold to people who know their own market audience. You don't know their market audience. So when they say to you, hey, what's your viewing audience? What's your range? Oh, this is great movie, they'll say. It goes from children up to adults. Well, prove it. You better have in your hand the focus group material that shows how many age groups looked at this and how they responded. No, they don't do that. I'm coming from an advertising point of view. That's how it's done. And right now, for our second movie, we are suddenly looking for sponsors. And we have a great idea on where to get a few more. So far, we have our pledges. They're good. They're looking good. We're getting there. And we don't have anything to worry about because we're not doing a Christmas Carol. So you could make 1 million of them. They're all the same movie. A Christmas Carol is the same thing done over and over and over again. Anybody likes enough the transformation of Scrooge to Ebenezer the Traveler. If you want to get involved with us, there is a nice way of doing it. We are looking for more producers. And we are also able to conduct angels. So for an angel, it's $1,000 to $5,000. And for a producer, so it's your producer title, that would be $25,000 and above. Now, we would talk about increments in between. People have approached with $7,500 and say, well, gee, where am I? There is a place. We'd make it work. We are very, very easy to work with. And as long as you understand that this is a cycle and you do get a percentage back, which you'd have to work with the lawyers on. And don't worry, nobody's sharks over here. We're more about putting together the production, getting it out there, keeping the momentum than we are about, looking for some huge profit. Right now, it's still in the stages of let us get it out there and keep selling it in the hopes of an episodic or wherever they want to take it. Okay, because there's another thing people should know. When they look at your work, they don't always take it as, hey, that's going to be a movie. They may tell you, no, we're breaking this up. Or they may say, no, we're putting this together. Or no, we're going to make a mini series instead of that out of it. So be ready. You don't have the control you think you have once distribution gets into it. But having said that and all that, I think I've talked your ear off. And I'm sorry if I did, but
No, it was lovely.
It was wonderful talking to you, Kat. I really enjoyed your company tonight. And I look forward to getting together with you, talking more about some of the other aspects that we can make happen. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to be back to light. With it, I want to say goodnight to your wonderful audience.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and there's one more thing I want to mention. You can take a look at some of these things on the website, EbenezerTheTraveler.com. Which actually directs to WoodwardCityProductions.com, which has links to Valenti Vision Incorporated and the like. And you can see a lot of that behind the scenes work. So there's nothing left to chance, and we will, if you're interested, mail you a full prospectus, press kit, and everything else that you might want to look at before you even make a decision on if this is something that you would be like to be part of, or as we put it, watch your name in lights.
Beautifully said. I'll put it also in the description so people can just click on it and go.
Well, that sounds like a great idea.
Wonderful.
But thank you for all
A
your
lot of information, so click and go.
I mean, when you want to have a master class, I'll give everybody one.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jerry. Appreciate you coming on Back to Light, and I'm sure everybody's going to love this show as well as your movie, and I'm looking forward to the future and what you guys are going to create. So thank you for honoring us and taking the time out to share your vision with us. It's wonderful.
I am honored. What's that? Oh, Mr. Scrooge asked me to say one more thing.
Sure.
Good night, Mr. Audience and Mrs. Audience. We've appreciated your time tonight. Humbug. And remember, it's not bah humbug. I don't tend sheep. It's simply humbug.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Let's go. The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate. Separate and segregate, don't celebrate quite yet. The storm is coming, cue for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country. And our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight. Pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on the streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour, troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, chosen just neglected, deflected by some breaking news. Oh, we just accept it, expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objectives, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the Testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Nah, drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
Oh, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. Oh, we need you now. One day. I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. Mm.